Okay, one day before the Breeders' Cup, it's the 31st of October. I put one video out so far. I was going to do more, but I've been kind of pressed for time. So I'm going to do a quick overview of all the races, looking at things from an astrological perspective. From a conventional handicapping point of view, you can look at any of the other hundreds of videos that are out there pointing, to the Breeders' Cup contenders and that. So I'm just going to take a little different perspective and give you some other food for thought here. I did one video on the turf, and I had really highlighted a horse named Illinois who, an hour after I made that video, scratched out of the race. Anyway, I'm going to look at all 14 of the races Friday and onward. So what I'm going to do is just give you a little bit of an overview of how I do this. I'm going to look at this from 2 points of view. I'm going to identify the horses who qualify on sensitive degrees to the race event chart. And I'm using 4 different degree points. And then I'm also using another method to identify strong numbers, and this is based on KP astrology. I'm using the Star Lord and Sub Lord of a certain house, and I'm using their planet number. Now I also look at any aspects that are active on a particular day and what a key nakshatra or Star Lord point. And tomorrow the Star Lord that we're interested in is Rahu, who is the number 4. Rahu is the north node of the moon. In the Vedic system, the sun is 1, the moon is 2, Jupiter is 3, Rahu is 4, Mercury 5, Venus is the number 6, 7 is Ketu, the south node, 8 is Saturn, 9 is Mars. So those are the planet number affiliations in the Vedic system. So what I'm going to do is look at this from both points of view and tell you who qualifies based on either the sensitive degree, a Star Lord, Sub Lord, based on the KP, or if there's any that qualify on both. So tomorrow, Friday, Rahu's the Star Lord ruler in play, so the number 4, just based on that, is going to win at least 1 or 2 races on the card. There's 10 races. It's not necessarily going to be a Breeders' Cup race, but when you're looking for the number 4, you also have to look at the number 13 because we're dealing with double digits. We've got fields of 14, so when you get to numbers 1 and 10 are the same, 2 and 11 are 2s, 3 and 12 are both 3s, 4 and 13 are 4s, and 5 and 14 are 5s. So I'm going to take a look at the juvenile sprint first, which is race 6 at Delmar on Friday, the first Breeders' Cup race. In that particular race, the sensitive degree horses, there are 4 of them. Number 3, Big Mojo. Number 5, Arizona Blaze, who's a long shot. Number 7, Whistle Jacket. Number 11, who is Gate to Wire. And the KP horse is a double 2, so it'd be horse number 2, Asterius. And then number 11, Gate to Wire. Number 11 is the only one that qualifies on both. Now, number 11, I didn't really necessarily have him as a contender, but since he qualifies on both, this is definitely a horse you're going to want to look at for exactas, tries, and supers and have him on those tickets just because of that dual astro factor. Okay, I'm going to just quickly go through all of these now, so I'm going to jump to the next one. This is the juvenile fillies, kind of pretty lackluster race this year. Not a lot of heavy competition. It looks like number 10, Scottish Lassie, the Japanese horse number 9, American Bikini, kind of stand out on top. And then number 7, Non-Compliant for Baffert is interesting. I'm kind of looking at those as the top 3 contenders for myself personally. Looking at the Astro Influence, number 10, Scottish Lassie, has the sensitive degree, the only one that does. The Star Lord and Sub Lord are the 9 and the 3, so the 9 is American Bikini and the 3 is Immersive. And most people would tell you that it's going to be one of those 3s, the most likely winner. It's also the top 3 betting choices, and it's hard for me to go against that when they all have the Astro support. Moving to race 8. In race 8, the one horse, the heavy favorite, Lake Victoria, who's less than even on the European early betting websites, is really looks super here. And the only drawback is the 1 hole, but she's just so good. I don't know. I don't think I would really want to bet against her. The only other one I would consider would be number 7, Thought Process. Now moving to the Astro Influence. I had a lot of sensitive degree qualifiers, and they are the 1 was one of them, then the 3, 4, 8, 10, 12. 3, 4, 8, 10, 12. So you can take a look at those and consider any of those that you like in your wagering. And then the KP qualifiers are 1 and 6. So the number 1, the heavy favorite, who I like a lot, qualifies on both counts. So she's definitely a win key, and also definitely would want to look at that as an in the money key, and then use the others accordingly. In race 9, the juvenile, I'm partial to number 1, East Avenue, based on everything I've looked at. He is definitely the class of this race. Again, the only drawback is drawing the rail, but he's got speed, and he's going to get out and probably avoid trouble. From the sensitive degree point of view, it's 1 and 5. The 5 is Jonathan's Way. He would be my second contender. I rate him ahead of Citizen Bull and Chancer McPatrick. Chancer McPatrick looks like a nice colt, but his running style, being that deep closer, is against him. The KP numbers are 3, 3, Double Jupiter, and in this race, only Hill Road is the qualifier there. So if you like Hill Road, who is the European runner, if you think he's got a chance, you may want to use him as a prospective board hitter. I don't really expect that to happen. I'm kind of looking at this race to be pretty chalky, with East Avenue the most likely winner. Going to the juvenile turf, the last Friday race. This is a good betting race. It's pretty wide open. Not a lot of separation between a lot of these guys. The 11 New Century, they're making the favorite. Number 4, Al Kudra, is one of the Appleby horses. He also has number 12, Amori City, and I think the jockey chose the 12. Jockey who had been William Buick, who had been riding both of these, has chosen to ride the 12 instead of the 4. So that's a pretty interesting. He's going for the Appleby long shot, and Doyle's picking up the mount on the 4. So the sensitive degree horses are 1, 4, 11, 13, and 14. So that's Satono Carnival. He has a shot. The 4 is Al Qudra, also has a decent shot. 11, New Century, of course the race favorite, has a good shot. 13, Henri Matisse. This guy is probably the class horse of this field. You can see he's current class, he's at the top slightly above Al Qudra, and then on average class, Henri Matisse is showing up third. 13, and then number 14 is Tenacious Leader. And then on the KP end, it's the 3 and 4. The 3 is Noble Confessor, who is an interesting long shot play. If I was going to look for a long shot play in here, I'd probably giving him a pretty good look. I think that's Pletcher. Yeah, that's Pletcher and Gaffleone. He looks like he's got a shot here, and you're going to get a good price on him. And then the other 3 was the 12, Amori City, who I'm looking at this guy as a long shot play, especially with that move from Buick, taking him over the 4, Al Qudra. And then Henri Matisse is the other 4. So those are the 4s. And then the other 3, Noble Confessor. So the 3 and 12 are the 2 3s. The 4 and 13 are the 2 4s. So a wide open race, and a lot of these guys are tabulating to be part of this mix. And the overlap horses, which are the ones I'm going to concentrate on, are the 12 and 13. Rather, the 13 horse, Henri Matisse, is the only one that qualifies on both Astro factors. So I'm going to take a really good look at using him as a trifecta key in all positions. All right, let me jump over to Saturday. On Saturday, race 4, the Filly and Mare Sprint is the first Breeders' Cup race. Looking at the summary sheet here, one thing I want to point out is this number 8 horse, Soul of an Angel, is the counter energy horse in this field. And when you look at the pace numbers here, the average distance, surface, speed, and pace right here, you see that Soul of an Angel has a bigger number late, and the other main contenders at the top here are heavy early. So 8 Soul of an Angel is the counter energy horse, and the counter energy horse, it's a term from the Sarton methodology. The counter energy horse often is going to be in the money or on the board. Moving to the Astro factors. Before looking at the numbers for the Filly Mare Sprint, based on the aspects, we should get a couple long shots with numbers 2 or 7. That would also include the number 11. And then we should get 5 or 9 winning a couple races as favorites on this card. And then Jupiter's number 3 should win a race or 2. 3 would also be 12. In this race, the sensitive degree qualifiers are the 3 and 6. Number 3 is Pleasant. That's Baffert's horse. The 6 is Society, one of the likely favorites, possibly the favorite. And then the KP horse is the number 2, One Magic Filly. So we've got 2, 3, and 6. 6 Society, logical choice. The other 2, the 2 and 3, both going to be long shots, both California horses, both been running at 6.5. 2, One Magic Filly, 3 Pleasant. If you want a couple long shots, look to those 2, or use those underneath in the exactas and tries if you like the 3 favorites in this race. In the turf sprint, we have the numbers 2 and 5 on sensitive degrees, the only two qualifiers. The 2-horse Motorius had a good finish in this race last year. The number 5 Ag Bullet, California Speedball. Both of those are going to be decent prices. Then we have the 1 and 2 on the KP numbers, and that's Believing and Motorius. So Motorius, and also the 11 Big Evs, who won the juvenile turf sprint last year. The 2 is the overlap number, qualifies on both counts. So Motorius and Big Evs have that. So definitely want to have those on exacta tries and supers. And then the 1 Believing, or the 10 Izzy Vungu Vungu, along with the 5 Ag Bullet. Those would be the Astro qualifiers in the turf sprint. Next up in the distaff, sensitive degree horses are 3, 5, and 8. Number 3, long shot Batucada. Number 5, Sugarfish, long shot 20-1. That horse is definitely capable and overlaps with the KP. And the 8-horse, Miss New York. Of those 3, and then we also have the 9 Awesome Result on the KP. So the 5 overlap horse, Sugarfish, has the double hit with the sensitive degree and the KP. The other one, I definitely would be looking to use that guy in all your exactas, tries, and supers. And then the 9-horse, Awesome Result, is the Japanese horse. I like him a lot, more so than the, I'm not too interested in the 3 or the 8, but you may want to use them at the bottom of the try and super due to the Astro factor. In the turf, which is race 7, we've got the numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 as sensitive degree qualifiers, and the numbers 2 and 4 as the KP numbers. So those horses, the 2, 4, 11, and 13, would be grouped at the top of this list because they're both double hits. The 2, Emily Upjohn. The 11, Rebels Romance, which is the other 2. And then the 4 is number 4, Luxembourg. And then number 13, There Goes Harvard. Of those 4, everybody but the 13 could potentially hit the board. That could be the trifecta right there. And then the other ones that would be in the mix there, the 3, 5, and 8, Sharyar, who can definitely hit the board. The 8 is Cabo Spirit, and the 5 is JRB, horse who I like a bit, but I don't like at that short price. Anyhow, there's the turf. Race 8, the classic. We have 3 horses qualifying on the sensitive degrees. They are the 3, 5, and 10. That is the 3 City of Troy, the Aidan O'Brien turf horse going to dirt. The number 5 horse, Senor Buscador, maybe underneath. Number 10, Tapit Trice, maybe underneath. And then the KP numbers are 2, 2, Highland Falls, and the 11, Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone with his off-the-pace running style and qualities. A great shot to be a key horse in the trifecta. Again, not necessarily to win. As far as the winner goes, I'm primarily looking at fierceness and maybe taking a shot on Arthur's Ride. If he stays up around 12-1 or a little higher, I'm taking a look at him as a potential win play. In the filly and mare turf, the sensitive degree horses are 12 and 13. The KP numbers are 3 and 4, which also happen to be 12 and 13. So 12 and 13 are double qualifiers. That is Soprano at 20 to 1 and Sunset Glory at 30 to 1. I don't think those can win, but those are going to be lighter uppers for the bottom of the Exacta Triumph Super. And then the 3 and 4, 4 is Warlike Goddess, and 3 is Cinderella's Dream, both logicals. My partiality in this race goes to the Kevin Attard uncoupled entry of 2 and 10, Full Count Felicia. Full Count Felicia has a chance to wire this field. There's really no speed in here other than her. If she can keep it leisurely, she could go a long way and possibly wire this. And the stablemate number 10, Moira, who finished third in here last year, Moira is definitely capable of winning this race when she brings her best. And I kind of like the counter energy, having a front runner and an off the pace horse coming behind from the stable. So we'll see how this shakes out, but I'm looking at making this 2 and 10 on top and using those others underneath. In the sprint, the sensitive degree horses are the 5 and 6. Neither one of those is a contender for me. That's Don Frankie, one of the Japanese horses, in the 6, Ben Tornado. And then the KPs, the 3 and the 6, Federal Judge and Ben Tornado. Again, the dual qualifier. If you like Ben Tornado at all, the 6 horse, he is a dual qualifier, and you're going to want to look to get him and his huge price tag into the money here. In the Turf Mile 12 horse field, got a lot of qualifiers here on sensitive degrees. It's the 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 11, and then the 4 and 8 on the KP. So the 8 is the dual qualifier. That's More Than Looks at 20 to 1. Good potential board hitter there with the double qualifying edge. The 4 horse is Diego Velasquez, KP horse. He's got a good shot. And then of the others, 2, 3, 5, 6, Chili Flag, Geoglyph, Goliad, 6, Notable Speech, Logical, and then the 9, Johannes, and 11, 10, Happy Rose. So we've got a lot there. The dual qualifiers, the 8, that kind of brings that one out, and then whoever else you like amongst that group. And in the last race, the Dirt Mile, we got 5 sensitive degree horses, 1, 4, 9, 11, 12. 1 Saudi Crown, 4 Katona. 4 Katona is a dual qualifier with the KP number 4. The 9 is Domestic Product, the 11 Cagliostro, and the 12 at Mufasa, 12 to 1. KP's 4 and 8. 8 is Post Time. The other 4 in there for the KP is 13 Pipeline, who's got a good long shot opportunity to hit the board. In the race, I'm leaning toward the 1 Saudi Crown as my second choice. Number 9 Domestic Product as my first choice. And then I think Mufasa has a shot. So there's Mufasa as a price horse for the win. Otherwise, the 9, then the 1 to win, and the others looking mostly underneath. Anyway, you can use those numbers in your handicapping. a good mix of favorites, long shots, so that astrological support will give you a little bit of additional information to go along with your conventional handicapping.